Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Funeralcare European Masters 2017 here at Blackpool Newton Hall. And we're in for some good games this afternoon. This is one that's been keyed up to be a really good game. Graeme MacDougall versus Perry Martin. Joining me in commentary, Jason, hot-footing it off. Another winning game.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. I just managed to get through another tie-break. Played loads better today, thanks. Had a good game against Phil last.
Yeah, it's. I think I told the viewers that you'd won the first end on the tie-break, and then we went off live streaming. So I actually managed to shoot out to watch you last night of the tie-break.
Could see you appear.
Yeah, so gearing up well. We've got 3 games on again at the moment. The game on here: Graeme MacDougall, Perry Martin. Perry Martin's travelled all the way up from Kent. As you can see, he's in orange Swale top. Swale, very, very dominating club at the moment. They won the top club at the weekend. One of their players, Wendy King's, out in Australia representing England in a series of test matches out there, experiencing the rinks for the Commonwealth Games. And I'll give a very good shout out to a good friend of mine and my team captain internationally, Sandy Hazel, because I'm sure Sandy's tuned in to watch her mixed pairs partner, Perry Martin, and they are the current national mixed pairs champions. So you could go on for quite a while about the young Perry Martin and what he's done and how well he's playing at the moment. Graeme MacDougall, interesting, was in the Navy. When he retired from the Navy, his first weekend back, he went up to Carlisle. None of us really knew who he was because he just appeared. And he played absolutely outstanding to win the Scottish International Open qualifier. And then he went to Perth and toppled a couple of the seeds up there. So, got a good track record. Graeme, have you ever played either of these two, Jason?
I've not, Janice, no. I've seen both of them play many times. Perry over the last few years just getting better and better. Got all the shots in his book. Neither of these two players are afraid to attack.
Yeah, both aggressive players tend to try and change things quickly. Don't think this is going to make the trip back into the centre of the rink. Perry's played a game here. He played Martin Gale out on the split rink of rink 4 and 5 here. One of the other WBT directors I was mentioning was playing in the tournament. Graeme MacDougall got a bye in the first round. Great ball from Perry there. Great opening end from the young man from Swale.
Certainly is. It's always good to get off to a good start with your length. You don't want to be scratching around too often. Probably see an attacking ball here now from Graeme.
Yeah, he's got several chances. Got the best back at the moment.
Looking for the jack. Underneath.
Yeah, underneath the line, he knows as soon as he let that go. It might just be the 2.
2 shots, Perry Martin.
So it's Perry to get first blood.
Of course, there's no rest for you really today, Jason. You've still got another game this afternoon.
That's right, 5:30, I believe.
The CEO of the World Bowls Tour.
That's right, someone's just been asking on the live stream how I fancy my chances against Richard.
I've been trying to find somebody to take over in here so I can come and pick on you both, but
I told you, just move the desk outside.
Yeah, the commentary position here is right at the end of the rink that Jason and Richard will be playing on at 5:30, but we've got no windows in the commentary. But I might just punch a window in this wall here. No, I'm sure I will get informed of how you're doing. In fact, at the end of the first set, Jason, just put your head round the door, will you?
I'll just tell you.
Let the viewers
Yeah,
know.
I'll just keep telling you.
But, there's been some really, really good games across the rinks. Fantastic game between Michael Lade and Billy Jackson earlier today. Went down to a 1-bowl shootout. You don't see many of them.
No, it's the first one I've seen. It's just that tactic we were discussing at the back of the rink, whether you'd want the first bowl or just hope you get left a bit of a chance. I think personally I'd shoot myself first, I think.
I was actually talking to somebody else about this, and as I mentioned to you, I've experienced a 1-bowl shootout against Brett Arkley, and I just think, take the jack, lead your first bowl, and then wherever that lays, there's pressure on your opponent to beat it.
Yep.
And in this case, Billy Jackson led a yard short bowl, and Michael Lade
just came up short, only just as well.
It just sort of nearly reached the back of Billy's bowl.
That's it. That's why I think I'd rather go first, Janice. You've got an open jack, both hands available to you. Just get as close as you can.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see, because with Billy playing a yard short, in your head, you're telling yourself, just pass it, pass it. And I think sometimes, he did have a false start on his first delivery, so it's obviously just playing on his mind there.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes easier just to launch it a bit too quick. So I didn't expect him to play too far, to be honest.
Yeah, rather than it pull up short.
Yeah.
No, yes, again, the conversation I was having, you sort of more expect somebody to even put it in the back ditch than be short.
It's very difficult.
It doesn't often happen, but it's always a good idea to have an idea what you would do in those situations in case it does happen. Because as it's proved at this level, it does happen.
That's right, and if you are joining us this afternoon on the live stream, very warm welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, we've got live on YouTube, and we've also got our Facebook stream. And if you've got any questions, please just drop us a note, and we'll try and answer them for you.
Just overplayed that.
Yeah, a bit of a scrappy end after the first end.
Yeah. Been interesting, because the game prior to this, Jason, when you were out on rink 7 that I was in on my own with, it was a very scrappy game. They seem to really, both players struggle for the pace. Whether it's changed out there since they all had a practice. I know Perry took his opportunity of having a good practice before this game actually went on, while everybody else was rushing off to have lunch and the likes. Perry was out there practicing.
That's right, and that's the difference. He's got a good ball here.
Very close here.
Well played.
Well played, Perry.
I think that's the difference. There's not a lot of crowding, but we've got to remember that there's 4 games going on, isn't there, throughout the day? So obviously the spectators are spread, and obviously everybody has their own favourites. And the temperature is changing quite a bit. I was down the far end on rink 7. It was absolutely roasting.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Perry about that before he started, because he was actually in his bowl sponsors shorts.
Oh, right.
Sponsored by Henselite. And he said, I wish I could have played in these. And actually, if he'd have brought white ones, he could have done. And he hadn't realised, unless he'd have brought a set of white shorts, I think. Because it's particularly on the rink that you're watching now, folks, because once we put the screens up, it's got a very low ceiling. It gets warm. But as you mentioned, rink 7, particularly at the top end, very, very warm. Low ceiling again.
So a bit of a loose ball. So Perry takes another one. Yeah, slightly different dress rules to a normal qualifier, isn't it? I think it's just caught a few people out, Janice.
The shirts certainly have the trousers are the same. You can wear shorts, culottes. If you wanted to wear culottes, Jason, you could go out there with culottes, dear.
No, thank you.
A skirt.
No, thank you.
Or trousers.
That'll do.
That's fine. But with the tops here, up until the weekend, we're only allowed to play in either plain white, club, county or international shirts. That's because it's a WBT event, so it's sponsored by the co-op. Well, with sponsors patches.
Yeah, plonk one on me club shirt.
Just having a glance at the other games going on. Another Scottish interest out on rink 4. We've got Charlie Benz playing Stuart Douglas. That'll be an interesting game. And we've also got Thomas Coombe playing Paul Maynard. So got a few Scottish out there. That Tommy Coombe Paul Maynard game will be very interesting.
Be very slow. They both take the time, don't they?
They do. I know Paul played under the shot clock here in March. He's one of the probably slowest deliveries on the circuit, but it seems to work for him. Perry's there is a very deliberate build-up, does the same every time. Good again.
2 good bowls.
Watching this.
So
Needs a better weight.
just pulling up short.
Two
I'm
yellow.
just having a glance at his profile, Jason, to see what he's playing with. It says he's playing with Aeros 4.5 heavy. It doesn't say what model. I didn't quite get a chance to catch him before he went on. Perry plays, as I mentioned before, with Henselite. Close again here.
Favour 3.
So 3 shots. Big bow now. Doesn't want to be leaving it to his last. Attacking. Should dip
Needs
sometime.
to hold here now.
Well,
Got a good result off that. He might still be one down.
he's acknowledged that he was a little bit fortunate, which is always good to see. But I'd probably say 1 to Perry still.
Looks like it.
1 yellow.
Well, Perry's certainly set his stall out here at this European Masters. Very confident player, Graeme MacDougall. It's under the line. What sort of connection can he get off that bowl?
Oh.
Bit unlucky, really. He was in the target zone.
Yeah, wasn't far off, just slightly underneath.
1 shot, Perry Martin.
Marker stroke umpire for this game, Alan Thornhill. I think at the back there in the crowd in a blue top, I think I've just seen Wayne Wilgress come
Yes,
in.
he
Wayne
is
got
around.
a bye in the first round, and that's a good game on the cards at 3:45 this afternoon. Trevor Taylor plays Wayne Wilgress. You stand next, I think we said this yesterday though, you stand next to Perry Martin and you think he's tall, and then Wayne Wilgress comes along and you have to get a step ladder. He's a tall lad, is Wayne. Exceptionally good player, played very well at the Scottish International Open until he came up against the champion to be, Greg Harlow. But He certainly held himself well. In fact, he came in commentary a couple of times, Jason. He was very good in commentary. Nervous before he started, but then once he'd got settled in, he was very good. This ball's swinging back nicely now for Graeme.
It's a better start.
When asked about favourite greens, Graeme MacDougall says Falkirk or home club Mount Vernon. Perry Martin's a little bit more specific. Rink 7 at Nottingham.
I can't remember. Been a long way furthest right, isn't it?
It is. I had to work it out then. No doubt somebody down at Swale will know why particularly it's Rink 7.
So we've got a question just in, Janice. Someone's asking about sponsored players. If you have to have a sponsor to be able to play in the event?
No, you don't. There's a lot of players that aren't sponsored. There's a lot of the top 16 that aren't sponsored. You can certainly play just by your own set of balls. I mean, some of us are very, very fortunate, and we do thank our sponsors for the support they give us. But no, you do not have to be a sponsored player. We've had 2 players prior to this, the game that was on before this. Neither of those players are sponsored. I don't actually know whether Perry Martin is sponsored or not. I just know he does play with
Yes,
Henselite.
I'm not sure.
He certainly doesn't seem to be wearing a patch, so but that's because he's got his nice orange swale top. It's unusual to see the orange swale top without black trousers.
That's correct.
And it just shows actually how well the black trousers do fit with the swale tops.
So 3 good balls here by Graeme. We're looking at holding these just to get back into this first set.
Of course, some players have sponsors that are not bowls.
Not far away.
Might just be unlucky on the respot. I think it's gone out the side of the rink.
And I've just been informed by Tom Doig that Perry actually won the national singles on Rink 7 at Nottingham, Janice.
Ah, thank you, Tom. I knew there would be a reason why he particularly put Rink 7 down. In fact, if I'd have had his player profile before the game, I would have gone out and actually asked him why specifically Rink 7. I always rely on Tom. Nice shout out to Tom. I hope you're well. Please give my regards to your mum. Had many a brew at Nottingham.
I need to get Tom Doig in my bowls quiz team, I think. Apparently, Perry is sponsored by Henselite and is now their sales manager for Green Gauge stroke Henselite, Janice. So we can update that profile.
There you go. Sometimes some of the profiles are a bit out of date. Well, Graeme, bit of room here. A lot of players do practice playing to the respot.
Yeah, it's just to see the limitations of the rink, isn't it? Just needs to put the brakes on. That's enough.
Well, there's only one conceded at the moment. I think Perry's asking for a measure on the second bowl. He'll have to help Alan Thornhill here. Of course, when we get to the weekend, you'll have all 3 of the umpires on the main rink. While we've got the qualifiers out on other rinks, the umpires are marking those and umpiring those as well.
2 shots, Graeme MacDougall.
So Graeme finally gets on the card with a double. Perry leads 4-2. 4 ends in play.
Don't forget, if you can't stay with us, you'll pick up all the results on worldbowlstour.tv. The next game on following this will be Billy Jackson versus Martin Williamson. Martin was the gentleman that beat me this morning with bright yellow bowls, so I think that could be a very, very interesting game. Martin played exceptionally well in the second set. We tied the first set, but he certainly played well in the second set. And of course, we've just mentioned Billy Jackson came through on a one-bowl shootout.
Yeah, you're unfortunate to miss the first game, Janice, because you were playing Gary Smith and James Rippey. Absolute corker of a game that was. James did very little wrong and came out a loser, unfortunately.
As Gary Smith plays this rink exceptionally well. He's back on there at 5:30. It's, as I mentioned before, he's the only player that's won a tour card twice and doesn't ever seem to be able to capitalise on it when he actually gets to the ranking events.
He won it 3 years out of 4, Janice. That's amazing.
It is a pretty good going. I know Billy Jackson's done well here as well, but like I say, Gary's always struggled when he gets to the actual ranking events. Player of his quality, though, you always expect at some point in time he's going to tie 2 or 3 games together.
Yeah, it's just hard as a qualifier, I think, Janice. You know, I've been fortunate to do it a few times, but you kind of qualify and you automatically get drawn against one of the really, really good players. So you're up against it straight away, especially when it's on the portable rink. You know, the top 16 is like their own green in a way.
Yeah, it's a bit different to when you get through in the International Open and you're playing on this rink here, rink 2. And of course, Gary's not got it all his own way at 5:30 today because he's playing against Chris Gale. And of course, Chris got through in all 3 events this year, ranking events, by being the top ranked European player. So some good games to finish the day off, and of course when that game's on I will be trying to find out how Richard Madison versus Jason Parkinson's score will be going. Not a bad position from Graeme there. He really wanted another ball in the head. It's left his shot ball very lonely. Perry down the backhand, trying to lift it out. I think he's a touch wide with this.
Yeah, only a little bit. I can see what he was trying.
Connor Sinato in the background there, sat with Danny Dennison. Danny beat Connor yesterday. Good game of bowls.
Got some viewers on from Australia at the moment, Janice. It's very late there, looking at the time, after midnight.
Yeah, we were trying to work out earlier the fact that we do seem to have a big following, certainly on the Facebook stream in Australia, and I was just trying to work out, I think it's either when the bars have shut or when the bowls club's shut and they're just on the way home. Glad of your company. Of course, it was possible for anybody to enter this event, so
One red.
all the overseas got invites as well, but I do realise that the enormity of putting together the costings for travelling that sort of distance is not easy.
So Perry going again. Doesn't want to just flick this jack.
One shot, Graeme MacDougall.
So 1 red.
3-4 after 5 ends. Always expected this to be a good game, and it's proving to be so. Val Caldwell on that camera in the background there, you can see it. Has to turn her hand back to her usual job of umpiring and marking in the next session.
So it's great to see the support from the local club members.
Yeah, there's been a few in watching over the last couple of days.
They're busy on the Crown Green this time of year, Janice, I think.
And it is a lovely day outside again, so I know I got a message from Vicky Code and Pat Briscoe, who are on the way home from this event. Pat got beat yesterday and they've stopped off at a Crown Green.
All right.
From Kent, but they've stopped off at a Crown Green for a game of bowls. Don't blame them on a day like today.
No, it's lovely. Neil Smith and his missus were looking for a crown green as well, asking me for my advice. I just said go to Stanley Park, there's plenty there.
Yeah, I just shared a memory from this day last year when I took the umpies to the Waterloo.
Well played. Cracker.
And then took them to Stolmine. And Stolmine were lovely. They provided us with teas and coffees and actually stopped halfway through their league game to let the umpires have a bowl, and I thought that was absolutely lovely of them. Shout out to anybody watching from Stolmine. Thank you so much for that. We took Alan Thornhill, Dan McManus, Tom Weir, who was in his umpiring capacity at that point, hadn't become assistant tournament director, and tournament director as he's had to be here a couple of times when Richard Madison's on the rink. And Dan Blewett. Dan Blewett was here this time last year. Quite interesting watching them trying to get corner to corner on the Waterloo.
Yeah, long way. So Perry, just slightly push this one.
It's not in a bad home. I think it's probably got second as well, Jason.
Yeah, probably has.
Yes, 2 yellow.
Yeah, it is 2.
2.5 inches.
Another question for you, Janice. How much is it to become a member of the PBA, and how many events can you enter within the PBA?
Well, it's an initial cost of £50 to become a member, and then it's £60 every year at the moment, and you can play in as many qualifiers as you want. We used to have the tour card used to be a system where we had several of them, so you could play in as many of those as you wanted, and then it all culminated in a final here. Now it's just the one big event here, but you can play in the tour card. You can play in the Scottish International Open, the International Open, and then there's the World Singles and World Pairs. So it entitles you to an entry to all of those, and any other events that the directors of the WBT can organise as a PBA member. Of course, if you become a lady PBA member or a junior PBA member, there's also the ladies and the junior qualifiers for the World Championships. I think I've covered everything there.
You've covered everything there, Janice.
You can tell I've been asked that one before then, can't you?
Yeah. So, Perry's line 2 good bowls. A nice draw from his third.
Of course, we do need to say that PBA memberships are in many of the countries as well. Just contact your local branch to find out what the membership is. The prices I was obviously quoting there were for the UK membership. I think it's actually the qualifiers in Australia this weekend.
Oh, right.
For the PBAs. Certainly for the Scottish and the International Open. Of course, we've already had 2 lots of qualifiers for the Scottish and the International Open. We've had qualifiers at Poole and Belfast, and there's still Lincoln and Carlisle to come in September.
Yep, we get a break for the summer.
Two shots, Perry Martin.
Now we've got news in from our runner for the 2 games going on outside. The Paul Maynard Thomas Coombe game. Paul Maynard's actually won the first set. And in the game between the 2 Scottish gentlemen, Charlie Bence and Stuart Douglas has won the first set in that. They must be running a little bit earlier than us. We're only on N7.
Another good start here from Perry.
It's still been fairly close set, really. I mean, I know Perry took a 4-0 lead. Down a good track here, Graeme. All on his pace.
Unlucky. Very good effort.
Perry will just look to draw down the forehand now to rest the bowl of Graham's. Anything inside that means that Graeme can't trail the jack. It's under the line. Right idea.
1 yellow.
Be interesting now whether he just forces him to change his hand. He can still just get underneath.
Shot hole is 8 inches past.
Sometimes it just sticks in your eye, Janice, when it's just slightly wide like that.
Yeah, and you automatically tend to then play it tight. It looks like he is setting up to change down his forehand. Well, if it stops.
Rock back off his own.
Yeah, got
Yep.
it.
1 red.
Perry will follow this down.
Yeah, just needs that extra bit of weight. Reach that bowl, even touch the jack through.
I think he's just nipped this. Weight was good.
No, still wet. Still 1 red.
Of course, just looking at Perry Martin's profile, he not only won the national indoor singles in 2012, but he won the national under-25s singles in 2012. So it just shows from 2012, probably a couple of years before as well, Perry Martin was coming on the scene. On the national fours in 2014. As I mentioned before, he's the current mixed pairs national champion.
Well, he's after this. Not far away. Just needs to bend. Ooh. I'm not sure what he's actually playing with. They just don't seem to be bending. Like there can't be a tiger, I don't think. The Evos.
It says he plays with a Tiger Evo on here. Size 4 playing grips. Like you say, that didn't seem to have any bend in it at all, and he wasn't playing it with a lot of weight. Oh, picture of Connor Sinato there. Like I say, disappointed yesterday to lose to Danny. He was one that had a really big shout at getting into the top 16 if he could have got a tour card. I'll have to leave that to next year. Of course, he did already qualify at Poole for the International Open here. So whatever happens, we'll see Connor back here next March.
I think this is gone. He's nipped it. It'll go quick on that hand.
1 shot, Graeme MacDougall.
So, closes the gap. 6 shots to 4.
2 in it, 2 to play.
And just got another question in asking us how many games we have to play to win this event. 5, I think is the answer, if I remember rightly. Yes, 5. 5 games over the space of 4 days.
I'll tell you what, next time I go into the commentary box, I'm going to bring a calculator because we've had so many questions over the last couple of days that we've had to do adding ups for.
Yep.
Adding ups. Yes, five games over the 4 days.
So only today we played 2, isn't it, Janice?
Yes.
Yes. Obviously, if you are around tomorrow, we've got some cracking semi-finals. Every single one of them on this rink. And with there being 2 tour card places available, we'll also have 2 finals for you on Sunday.
Just drop that yard short, Graeme. 2 ends to play. Doesn't really want Perry to be scoring at this end. Close here.
Better ball from Perry.
Oh, that was a great reply. Saw the chance when Graeme dropped his ball short.
Yeah, sticking with this bigger swinging forehand.
Just overplayed it. That's the only problem when you're just trying to reach a ball. Does leave a lot of room here for Perry changing his hand. Again, he wouldn't have wanted to have reached onto his own bowl and moved the jack out. A one at this end would be very happy days for Perry Martin, but extra in the count, even better.
What's the gap out in the short ball and jack?
Half an inch.
Well, it looks to have played a similar sort of shot here. Got to get a connection on the red bowl.
Just overplayed. Seems to be a little bit of a tighter bowl, I think, them Janice.
Yes, like I say, I'm not sure what it says on his profile that he's playing with arrows, but I'm not sure which.
See if the cameraman can get us a close-up on the bowl.
Yeah. I'll give them a task. Yeah, if you just see that blue bowl that's sat down there, we know he's playing with arrows, but we're not sure what model it is. It might get to see it better when it's on its side at some point in time.
Yep, I'm playing with aero grooves, and they just seem to be slightly tighter than mine.
2 yellow.
Mine have got a great swing on them.
We've mentioned this before, that certainly the top players tend to choose a swingier bowl out on this rink.
So looking to shunt the bowl onto the jack. It's got some weight in. It'll go quick in a minute. There it goes. Very difficult to play with that pace down that hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing with the right sort of weight for the job. It's just hard to pick the line, really.
So
If Perry's holding 2 here, it's
he's got to play.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
still
say,
another
still
end to
needs-
play. Yeah.
he needs a 3 for the game to finish.
There's loads of room here. I'd just be drawing either way.
But again, just having stopped and asked the question, he did right to just take his time there, and there's so much room here to make the 3. He wants to just settle what he wants to do. Just something in the target area, and we might be going into the second set. Interesting, because it's been such a tight set to go into the second set and have an end spare. You wouldn't have really said that. He's
Needs
running,
to
but he should
stop.
be all right. Should pull up, surely. Yeah, done enough.
Should be the first set.
Three shots in the first set. Perry Martin.
So Perry Martin takes the opening set here at Blackpool, 9 shots to 4.
Yeah, with an end to spare, which, like I say, really the way that the game had gone, you thought it was always going to go down to the last end, but loose end there from Graeme MacDougall. The winner of this game will play the winner of the game that's out on rink 4 at the moment, Charlie Benz, Stuart Douglas. We know that Charlie lost the first set to Stuart Douglas. No doubt at some point in time we'll find out how the games are going.
Yes, and I've just had my thoughts confirmed by the guys at David Goulet Bowls that he's playing with Aero Revolutions, which is what I was actually thinking in my head with them being just slightly tighter than mine.
Is that the lovely Linda at David Goulet Bowls? Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
So that's solved our producer's problem of trying to run round and find a shot of the bowls.
I always go with your first kind of thoughts, I think, but it's not nice being wrong.
Well, as we've mentioned before, bowls, it depends on the delivery as well. Some people can make a tight bowl swing and vice versa, and some people have this theory about holding a bowl differently in the hand on tighter lines they need. So you like to know for sure, Jason.
Correct.
Well, second set, Perry Martin, the man from Swale, taking the first set.
This is a good thing about the live streaming, Janice. We can get all our information from all over the world.
Yep. Great to have so many viewers out there. Getting there. Perry's delivery, very deliberate, does the same every time.
He's changed it recently, Janice, if you've noticed. Definitely changed.
So, he's telling me he'd dropped a little bit of weight, possibly down to that. I know he lost a lot of weight a few years back, but he did mention to me he was trying to find a string for his trousers. So I said, oh dear, thanks for the pre-warning for, the live game going out there, Perry.
So he needs to get this one close. Doesn't want to be dropping a 3 early on. Yeah, well played. That'll do for starters. Pressure's on.
Cut it down to 1 by the looks of it. Yeah, Alan Thornhill just confirming 1 yellow.
I think he thinks he's a little bit up. Yep, he's right. So, chance. Needs to add another foot of running. You always want to get off to a good start, Janice, don't you, when you've dropped the first set?
Yeah, you don't want the player that's won the first set to get away from you.
No, don't want to be chasing it.
Then they start defending shot scores and it makes life hard work.
Well,
under the line.
It's just arriving though.
Oh,
I think he's just sat away, I think. Not sure, I think he's just sat away.
Perry's asking for a measure.
Yep, it's just hard to see from this angle. It was just the way it fell away from it, Janice. I'm not sure.
Yep. Hard to tell. Yeah. We did just see the logo then before Alan Thornhill put his knee in the way, but we'd already, and definitely the Henslite bowls there are Tiger
you can see
Evos.
that. So this is where Graham's got a half size bigger.
Might make the difference.
Politer than saying a bigger belly. Seemed to go through quite quickly.
Yep. Steady hands, Thornhill there. Yeah, Graeme had the bigger belly. That's a good start to the second set then. The scores in the second sets of the other two games are Charlie Bence's 5-1 up against Stuart Douglas after 5 ends, and Paul Maynard is 8-4 up against Tommy Coombe after 4 ends. Of course, Paul Maynard, the current Open Singles Position 1 title holder, ranked 1, having an amazing season. Paul Maynard had to scrap his way through his game yesterday. Certainly one of the favourites coming into the tournament, just on his current consistency.
Another question just in, Janice. Talking about maths, this will be right up your street. Someone's asking how the points are worked out for the world rankings.
Right, you'd have to email Martin Game on that. That's not something I even, because there's the World Bowls Tour ranking list, and there's also the PBA Professional Bowls ranking list, and then of course we've got each area of the world. We've got different ranking lists in Australia, so they have tournaments that depends on how your rankings lay out there. So going to pass the buck on that one. If you go on to the World Bowls Tour website, you'll get the contact details for the gentleman that keeps all the rankings, which is one Martin Gale.
Yeah, the points are kept for 3 years, aren't they? You keep accumulating points, so then every 3 years your points that you earned from 3 years ago fall off. So you don't keep them forever, which is good.
And you get extra points for
bonus points, don't you?
World qualifiers, and
Yep.
then there's bonus points for winning games 2-0 and not, and you get points for tied sets. And I just go out and play, Jason, and
I've run out of fingers already,
yeah,
Janice.
Totally. Martin Gale's your man, folks.
Yep, we can collect them for all the ranking events. You're always collecting points. Like I say, keep them for the 3 years. Keeping us busy, Lewis. Thanks for your questions.
Oh, great ball again from Perry. Certainly playing this rink very well.
Yeah, he just needs to do something, Graeme. He's just struggling a little bit, scratching around.
Looks in the area.
Yep.
It just holds to the bowl, chop and light.
Well played.
1 red.
Yeah, he's certainly the man out there having to try and find shots, whereas it seems to be going fairly easy to Perry at the moment. Playing to reach this. Urging it on. It's going to start dipping now.
So, chance here now for Graeme. Needs to double this up.
What's his weight like here, Jason? It looks
Short.
underweight to me.
He's lost it all. He's struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely fishing for weight and length. Now Perry doesn't need a lot of adjustment on his last bowl. Bowl or jack. Gone a bit more aggressive.
So, 1 for Graeme.
1 shot, Graeme MacDougall.
2-0. 2 ends into the second set. Perry Martin won the first set 9-4. Don't forget, if you do fancy coming down to watch it all over the next few days, it is free to get in. There's a great cafe. There's a bar area. I think you did a little bit of research on finding out where the bar was, Jason, earlier today.
Yes, I had a little look. Because I saw the article in the paper the other day from the guy that was saying that 2 pints of lager is the same as 2 paracetamol, I think it was.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah. So I tried it yesterday for me back. Didn't
And it
work.
worked?
No,
It
it
didn't
didn't work.
work.
So
Ah.
today I've had both.
Paracetamol.
2 of each.
No, it's a nice, friendly club down here. If you fancy popping down.
Better start here from Graeme. Just needs to start putting Perry under a bit of pressure.
players were saying to me that it was fantastic that it had made its home in Blackpool, because if you come to stay, you can stay on site. There's a caravan park and also some flats and apartments. But also, you can choose to stay in Blackpool, and there's a variety of different prices of accommodation. And you can also have a weekend with your mates and make a weekend of it.
Certainly can. There's certainly plenty going on this time of year, Janice.
Yeah, the fun fairs are open, and there's always Blackpool Tower.
A friend of mine's got 4 nights, bed, breakfast, evening meal, £149.
That's not bad at all.
No, not at all.
Not bad at all.
Not at all. So, good opening bowl for Perry. Slight change of hand.
Will this make it all the way back?
Just push through it a little bit.
It's not wasted when it's at the back, though. It's better there than short. Not a very good line here. Just might have played to reach, which certainly on this rink, the pure draw, there's lots of lines in. The further out you put them, they will nicely swing back, but once you just that touch overweight, it just holds off.
Just overcorrected.
Oh, Graeme. In control at the moment in this second set with a 2-0 lead, but looks to be changing his hand, wants to just try and get to that bowl of Perry's. A little touch on the jack would be handy as well. Well, this is all on his pace. If it's good pace, it'll finish all the way back down here, very close.
Just needs to bend now. Well played.
Oh, that's a good bowl. Must have
A
even
cracker.
got 2 out of that.
I think he has.
Pressure back on Perry Martin.
2 red.
Might see Perry play quick at these.
As you mentioned before, he's got every shot in his armoury.
Underneath, yeah. So, a double there for Graeme. Extends his lead 4 shots to 0. Plenty of ends left. 9 ends, obviously, Janice, for sets.
Yep. Sometimes at the qualifiers, we play 7 end sets, and this is 9 ends. 9 ends just gives you that opportunity to get back into a game if you drop a 3 or a 4. Not that you want to be dropping a 3 or
No.
a 4.
Definitely not.
4-0 after 3 ends. Well, a good lead ball required. Looks close.
Yeah, not a bad start. It's only got about a foot.
That's certainly better from Graeme MacDougall. It's very wide here from Perry. It will swing a long way back, but you've got to be perfect weight.
Just needs to hold his head a little bit further.
Might have made second.
Think so. So Perry be just tightening up slightly. Will it bend from there with ease? It's just sticking a little bit.
A little bit of help there. It might have made second.
One red.
Yep, off the wing. Graham's still got the draw down the forehand here. Get to the last bowl.
Push through it this time. Just overcorrected. Could do with missing that really. So Perry going again. Closer.
In the area, certainly in the target area.
Well, the jack's gone out the rink, so it'll be respotted. Luckily, one of his own bowls has travelled back, so he will be laying the shot. And there's one right on the edge of the rink, you can see there.
Second end of the tie break in the last game, Jason.
One yellow.
Paul Hartley was in a bit of trouble and he played a runner and his bowl actually spun and stayed with the jack all the way back.
Oh, really?
Never seen that happen before. Was within inches. So often you say that you have to play a runner and hope for a little bit of luck, and certainly was lucky there. It's interesting to see sometimes where the bowls and jack go, and at that point the jack went up in the air. It's possible for jacks to go back up the rink as well. That's something you tend not to cover for.
Sure. So Graham's going to be looking at getting very, very close here.
All on his pace.
Needs to stop. Needs to stop.
It's running.
Just enough, I think.
Perry's having a good look at it.
One red.
So Perry's got round about a yard to draw the shot.
Normally bank on him drawing shot in here. Plenty of room. It's just that fear of the ditch edge. Doesn't really have to get right close to it though to get shot. Good line.
Looks good weight as well. Well played. So finally gets on the scorecard in this
One shot,
second
Perry
set.
Martin.
Yeah, of course, Perry Martin can afford a tie in the second set. He won the first set 9-4.
So a better start there from Perry. Pretty decent length.
As you mentioned before, Jason, these are all last games in the last 16. We move into the quarter-final stages for both tour cards at 3:45 and 5:30 today, which sets us up nicely for a Saturday and the semi-finals. Get a bit of a lie-in Saturday as well, Jason. I'm only in here from 10 o'clock, so half an hour extra. Perry's certainly played very consistently in this game.
1 yellow.
Well, it's a better header ball so far, Janice.
The Paul Maynard Thomas Coombe game's finished. Paul Maynard won it in straight sets, 12-2, 13-4. I believe Charlie Benz has managed to get his game into a tie break.
That's right. Shove your head out the side of the commentary box. You can just see that on rink 4.
So Paul Maynard now moves to 5:30 tonight on rink 4, where he plays Danny Dennison.
Rink 6, that one, Janice.
Just reliably informed by my co-commentator that that's moving to rink 6. It does say rink 4 on the sheet.
Yes, a slight admin error, but I
Right.
was made aware of it earlier. Sorry, I
Oh,
should have
right. No, it's all right. As long as one of us is aware of it, we're all right.
should have doodled on your pad.
So that's Paul Maynard versus Danny Dennison, 5:30 on rink 6.
So Perry will be looking at making another. Any slight touch on the jack will be good. On a slightly higher line. Down it comes. Just slip through. So, chance here for Graeme, Janice.
1 yellow.
Yeah, there's the opportunity. I mean, if you could get to the ball behind the jack of Perry Martins and sit back, might even have the chance of getting two. But, I mean, he'd be happy, Jason, just picking up a shot here, really.
Yeah, that's right. He's just got to draw to the back bowl of Perry's. You know, sit in. If he could just sit the bowl and then sit back on the jack, there is a chance of making a double. One will be good. Extend the lead. Just needs
like
to
it's
bend.
wide.
Yeah, it won't bend from there. So Perry takes another. We've been asked to try and call it, Janice. They like putting us on the spot, don't they? I think Perry's just probably playing more consistent.
I think he's played the more consistent game, certainly. I think Graeme MacDougall's just had to fish about a little bit to get the shots, and you normally go for the more consistent player, but that didn't particularly work earlier on today. You never know in these sets games, a little bit of luck or a little bit of bad luck.
I think more so if you can get it to a tie break. If you're scratching around and you can get it to a tie break,
Then anything can happen.
anything can happen.
Yeah,
you know,
totally agree.
which is why I think Perry just needs to plug away here. You know, try and get a draw at least out of this set. He's certainly playing well enough.
Those of you that want to know the games that are on next, the 3:45 games. In Tour Card 1, we've got Paul Hartley versus Brian Hawkins and Simon Skelton versus Scott Bishop.
That'll be a good game.
And in Tour Card 2, we've got Trevor Taylor versus Wayne Wilgress. And the game you'll be able to watch live here with me is Billy Jackson and Martin Williamson. As Jason will be scooting it off to play the 5:30 game at some point.
That's right. Let's go and grab a bite to eat. Well played.
That's a good ball. Settling the ship again. You say Perry's certainly played very consistently in this game. Close to the jack here. Any sort of touch. Well played, Perry Martin.
Cracking bowl. That's why I just think Perry's favourite, personally, you know.
He played that with the perfect pace as well, Jason. It's not widened the target any.
It's just that consistency for me.
Graham's on a good track. All about pace here, looking good. Just giving up.
Just short again.
And that's what happens when you just a little bit under the cosh here. Graham will want to change something with his next bowl.
He certainly will. Perry can just draw through this at the back, which I think he is doing. Yep. It's the only thing when you play two short bowls, Janice, limits your options. I think he's going to play through it.
Yeah, playing with a lot of weight, try and open it up for his last bowl.
Not far away. One away.
Not one away, that helps as well, because
Certainly
it's a
does.
shorter one of the two. So it gives them the option of playing to Perry's bowl now. Perry needs to put another one in close. At the moment, if Graeme could get Perry's bowl away and stop, he could possibly score a 3. And Perry needs to make sure that can't happen. It's a very good track again.
Doesn't want to flick the jack. Just stayed with it. Not what he wanted.
You can tell by his body language there, he wasn't happy with that.
Well, they can both go, Janice.
Yeah.
You know, slightly just off centre. We'll take away the 2 yellow stickers.
I mean, the perfect drawing bowl would just be to draw that off, but the way that Graham's playing at the moment, I think we've spoken about this before, you're sometimes better going the percentage bowl, which is the reaching bowl.
Yeah, definitely. Even if he gets away one of them, he's still lining the shot then, isn't he? 2 is obviously better, but he just needs to reach this.
Chances.
Be very unfortunate if it does just happen to hit the jack and then land flat on the red bowl. Or the red bowl with the yellow sticker. Yes, going again.
Going off the backhand here.
How's his luck? Wasn't quite sure. But
Would you play that off the backhand or gone down the forehand?
I'd have played the backhand all day personally, but what you're confident with?
Yeah, I was quite surprised he played that off the forehand. Could be 2. It is. All
2 shots,
square.
Martin.
So just 3 ends to play.
No, you definitely favour Perry.
Yeah, well obviously this is a set that Graeme MacDougall has to win. Can't afford a tie.
I'm sure whoever asked that question about us decided who we were favouring for this game must have been used to Andy Thompson being in a commentary box.
I'll give you a clue who asked for one of that questions, Janice. Carlisle member.
Oh, right.
Following Trevor. Has a penny dropped?
There's a few players that are following Trevor. He played very, very well yesterday. So that person will be wanting to know how Trevor's score's doing in a bit then.
Yeah, I'll turn my iPad off. Afternoon to Mr. Prince joining us down in Brighton.
And in answer to that, we'll try and keep Gavin up to date with his bigger scores. He did play very well yesterday, did Trevor Taylor against Neil Smith.
He certainly did. Good start here from Graeme. Perry just needs to shove a yard in.
Cracking line. All on pace here.
Just enough, I think.
1 yellow.
Still plenty of room for them. Just looking, dropping round the front. Even just slightly underneath it with his bowls, I think. Still playing the higher line. We'll come back off this backhand if you've got the pace. Just slightly overplayed again. Probably just enough.
1 yellow.
No.
Certainly can understand when you get to the World Bowls Tour events why we play with red if you're top of the draw and green if you're bottom of the draw. From not only a commentary point of view but a spectator's point of view. It does get a little bit confusing.
That's a shot ball.
Still one to Perry.
1 yellow.
So a change of hand.
It's down a good track.
Come now. What's the weight like?
Certainly in the area for it, all on
Yeah,
pace. Yeah,
well
done
played.
1 red.
Perry's got a couple of good chances here.
Certainly
It's
has.
reaching. Stay with this backhand. Turn his own bowl. Lift shot bowl. Touch the jack through. Various different options. Certainly watching it. Oh, it's down a very interesting line.
Certainly is. He's got bowl or the jack.
Very close to the bowl here, Perry.
Absolutely
What a great
brilliant.
bowl.
Well played. That was a cracking bowl. Looks like it's probably stayed in for 2 as well, I think.
2 yellow.
Yep. Pressure back on. Graeme now.
It is a big bowl, this. Doesn't want to be dropping a 2 on this end. He plays a very similar bowl to his last. He's not going to be far away, Janice.
Yeah, he played a good ball with his last. That line's still there. Don't know whether his body language like that. He seemed to dip his head just
Well,
as he delivered it.
He's kind of like following this. He's not far away here, Janice. Is he reaching?
Very close.
Is he reaching?
Just needs to run.
Oh, he'd be annoyed at that. Absolute cracking line. Just short of weight. So Perry takes another 2. So he's closing it out now. 6 shots to 4.
2 up, 2 to play.
Yep. Graeme needs 3, remember.
He's certainly played very well.
He has. He's attacked well as well.
Yeah, I think he's certainly one to watch over the weekend if he gets through this this game here.
So we've got a question. Someone's asking what round this game is, Janice. Well, this is a second round game. The winner of this will play in the quarterfinals later on this afternoon.
5:30.
5:30.
Games on. Yeah, these are the last 16. So the last 3 games of the last 16 are just on in this session. Paul Maynard's already come through his. We've not heard the news on the Charlie Ben Stuart Douglas tie-break. In fact, just as I speak,
the door opens.
Our runner comes through the door. Charlie Benz has managed to get his tie-break.
Brilliant. There we go. Always a popular favourite.
So the winner of this game now plays Charlie Benz at 5:30. What was that for timing, eh? We were just talking about it.
Perfect, wasn't it?
The look on his face, though, Jason, when we went, perfect timing.
Yes.
He thought, what
Wonder what he walked into.
What I walked into here.
So again, look, this is just the consistency of Perry here. Put him under pressure.
Yeah, it's totally a must-win end, really, for Graeme MacDougall. Even if Perry gets a 1 here, 3 shots up, playing the last end. Graeme would have to score a 4.
Is he over the top? I don't think he is.
Change of hand.
Doesn't look overly wide.
What's his pace like though? He's got to reach. If he's reaching. Good effort. It
One yellow.
keeps.
Very good effort. It held as much. Mind you, they're playing the backhand this way. Just stick a little bit. He'll be happy with that. Gives himself a chance. Perry will be looking to reach it down the forehand. Bigger swing down this hand. I don't think he's here again, is he?
Need
Or
to
is
slip
it?
past those
Oh.
short bowls. Getting wrecked again.
Nope.
Oh, got a bit of a wiggle.
A good wiggle.
1 yellow.
So still just the 1. Needs to reach this.
Well, again, the line he's picked is good for the job. It's all on the weight. If he overplays this, it'll hang off.
He's got it. He's got it. Well played. Ooh.
Bit of lucky, it might have sat in.
He got a bad wobble off that.
Perry's just asking Alan Thornhill to have another look at this. Very good judge, Alan. Well, all the World Bowls Tour officials are. Certainly rely on Alan's eyesight better than mine.
Very close, Perry.
Played against a gentleman this morning with bright yellow bowls and against my red bowls. Alan seemed to have a far better idea than I did. Well, Perry, has he just overreached this? Will it swing now?
Doesn't want to make any contact really at that pace. So, what can you do now, Graeme? Suppose it depends who he thinks is in, Janice.
Yeah, he can't afford really, like I said before, to drop a shot here because it would leave him needing 4 the last end. But then if he fancies his own bowl, he only needs 2 at the last end. It's hard to tell when we can't actually see who's shot.
That's right, yes. He was very unlucky with his last. I actually thought he was going to just sit on it for 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously, like I said, it just got a funny wobble off the bowl.
And it rolled back in.
And it's finished a good probably 12, 13 inches away from the jack. So he's probably either looking to draw. Slight touch on the jack would help. Playing a tighter line, maybe trying to play 1-2. Take both the bowls out.
Definitely a tighter line.
There's a chance he could get a 1-2.
Well, he's on the target area.
Jack's gone too far. That could be the end of the game.
Well, is it 2 to Perry? 2 shots needed for Perry Martin to finish the game off here.
I think he was trying to run off that pack. No.
1 shot, Graeme MacDougall.
Oh, he's got...
MacDougall, I think that might be.
Yeah, he's got...
That was our camera angle for...
Dear me, I'd have not said that at all. Great ball.
We both looked...
Great ball.
We both looked at each other there, completely mystified.
It looked 2 yellow miles away
Yeah,
there.
well, the middle bowl looked definite, didn't it, from
Yes.
that angle? And it was the question, was the back wall... But,
Unless it was a ball we couldn't see on the camera.
well,
Need to put my TV and my table outside so I
Aye.
can see.
Aye.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good bowl. Here's me getting ready to run for food.
You were poised.
Yeah, I was
Poised.
poised for food. So, 2 to force a tie break.
It's possible. It's doable.
Certainly is.
The 3 or 4 was going to be hard work, but 2 is certainly doable. He scored 2 2s previously in the game, 1 in the first set, 1 in the second set. Certainly it's been Perry that's been picking up the 2s, and he got a 3 in the first set to finish the first set off. Not the best of opening bowls from Graeme for what he wanted.
No, we're wanting closer than that for sure. Loose one from Perry.
Yep.
Take advantage now.
Yeah, knocks down a decent track.
Tighter line on that forehand. Just sticks. Better bowl, nothing short, which is good. Good ball from Perry.
Yeah.
Still a chance here for Graeme.
1 yellow.
All he has to do is really match bowls Perry, because he can afford to drop a 1. Wants to make sure he's in a position where he can't drop a 2. Track's decent again.
Needs
If
to
he's-
bend.
Yeah, if he's played it any sort of weight, it'll just drift off here. Look.
1 yellow.
Perry's just playing the let's match bowls game here.
He's got the benefit of last bowl as well, Janice.
Yeah.
So if he does trail the jack, he's still got 1 left to save it.
What he won't want to be here is whatever he is, he doesn't want to be short. Anything just past. This is going to a very good home.
It is.
Bowl for bowl. Look at those groupings. Now, this bowl.
Backhand.
Yeah.
I think I play the backhand to trail the jack, Janice. It's more forgiving. It's a swingier hand. You're always coming back at the jack. It's got a slightly tighter bowl. I think on this forehand, well, you play here as well, you know, with a bit of pace, it just sticks.
It sticks off. Whereas the backhand, if he can get a touch, he has to score a 2, remember, folks?
Yeah.
He has to win the set. So just drawing for shot is not good enough for him.
No.
So this bowl, or Perry Martin, goes through to the quarterfinals at 5:30.
Needs to hold.
I
Needs
think,
to hold.
I think this is under a
It
line.
has, yeah, it needs to hold. It's gone. Good effort. Pace was good.
Second set and the match to Perry Martin.
Perry Martin wins the second set. We'll leave you for a short while and we'll be back after a short break for Billy Jackson versus Martin Williamson. Jason's disappearing off for something to eat, and we'll see you shortly.
Thank you very much.